Finally this morning, the story of a man who combined a love of learning with the power of music and found inspiration in a most unusual place. NBC's Bob Dotson explains.
This 8th grade band class is filled with dreams. One a bit older than the others.
Yeah, you're listening to each other. That's the trick.
John Suta has longed to learn the French horn for 70 years.
You might make a mistake, and you might be disappointed, but you're doomed if you don't try.
That's why the retired pipe fitter showed up at Roosevelt Middle School in Eugene, Oregon, and asked to join the beginning band.
I look at it sometimes and say, what are you doing here, big boy?
But Principal Dan Barron said, stay.
Wow, what an opportunity for our students to see somebody, grandpa age, starting at, I guess, point one, learning how to play the French horn.
Originally, it was kind of weird having an elderly man sitting right next to you.
I thought it was kind of funny at first. Me and my friends just started laughing, but then it was like, he was really good.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
When Suta was young, he wanted to be an opera singer.
Hail at the twilight's last gleaming.
Almost became one. Taught himself 5 languages. Studied the piano. Mastered the harmonica. But what made him happy could not pay the bills. So he raised 2 sons on a pipe fitter's wage and waited. About 4 years ago, John saw an old horn in a second-hand store and bought it for $75, but had no money left for lessons. So he found another way.
You can do anything you want to.
I think he's really an inspiration to everybody who didn't really think they were going to continue music.
Despite heart trouble and nerve damage that make it difficult to walk, Suta started with the 6th grade band at age 74. He has rarely missed a practice with them in 3 years.
I'm a real 8th grader today.
Just another 13-year-old with 64 years experience at being 13.
He's lived it, and he's watched it lived, and he's watched it lived a whole bunch of times.
As a first-year teacher, I can't bring that kind of perspective to this class.
So the kids rely on the old pipe fitter for guidance.
He tells us the rest of what we want to know.
They cannot imagine this class without him.
He's really the heart and soul of this band.
So when he stumbled in the little house where he lives alone and fell on his French horn, crushing its bell, he felt devastated.
You know, it's not just a piece of metal, it's an extension of how I feel.
Suta took the horn to a music store for repairs, but could not pay. The next day, when he returned, the horn was fixed. The bill paid in full.
These kids all chipped in. That's what they did. What a gift, huh? What a bunch of nice kids.
To help an old pipe fitter, still hammering away at life and getting the best of it. For today, Bob Dotson, NBC News, Eugene, Oregon.
What a nice story. What a nice man, and what great kids, too. Wasn't that sweet?
Yeah. Well, you get what you give, and he certainly has given to those kids.
And Bob, what a nice story. It really was.
Yeah.
Well done.
Anyway, well, as we that does
some
it for us
tissues
on
over
this
there?
Monday morning. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Wow.
Today is a presentation of NBC News. More Americans watch NBC News than any other news organization in the world.
Tonight, it strikes without warning. Sudden cardiac arrest. For thousands, the first and only sign of trouble is fatal. Why does it happen? Now, new answers. And on the fleecing of America, food for children. Imagine someone stealing money that's supposed to help feed thousands of kids in America.
It stinks.
NBC Nightly News tonight.
8:56. We're just commenting on what a sweet, touching story that was. It sort of almost seems like something that would be made into a movie,
like
or
a Disney film.
doesn't it? Yeah,
Exactly. It should be.
Real, and what an impressive man, John Suta, teaching himself 5 languages, teaching himself the piano, the harmonica. Clearly, he's an incredibly talented person, and it's sort of sad on one hand that he couldn't support himself doing what he so clearly loved and instead needed to become a pipe fitter, but it's also so wonderful that he continued to pursue those dreams, and that was so nice.
Those kids were so wonderful too. I mean, that they appreciated who he is and what he gives to them.
I love when that little girl said, he's the heart and soul of this band.
And he's lived it and seen it and lived it again and lived it again.
It must be lovely for them actually to be with this person who's lived and who's had all this experience, who's so smart in all these different levels, that they can embrace and be affected by his wisdom. I mean, for them as well, it's such a gift.
I was in elementary school band. I played clarinet. I was the worst clarinet player in the band. I was 5th seat clarinet, and I actually broke my clarinet, and the kids chipped in not to get it fixed.
They paid the repair person.
Yeah, to actually smash it.
Bring it back fixed, we'll break it again. Then we're going to move on to you. Then we're going after your family.
I love the clarinet, though.
I was terrible. I was really awful. So at one point, the teacher made me sit in the 5th chair and play it without a reed in it.
Ooh.
Because I just wasn't making the kind of noises that I should have made. It was like
what does she want?
A lot of that.
It's hard, isn't it, to play the clarinet
I thought it was
well?
extremely hard.
Well, did you take up another instrument after the clarinet?
No, I took up audio visual.
Yeah.
You know, it's the guy that came in with the projector, the overhead projector.
Wait a minute, both of you were AV guys?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody who was AV knows what keep the loop means.
Keep the loop.
On the film projector, you had to have a loop that came out of the sprockets, and it had to be just the right size, or the film would snap.
That's right. It would snap, or it wouldn't be in sync. Yeah, the sound wouldn't be synchronized.
Did you have your pocket protectors?
Doggone right. AV. That was our little mom. We were just the biggest nerds. We were in the basement with the right next to the supply squad, which supplied all the uniforms for our school. I mean, we were just nerds.
But something tells me you're doing a lot better than the captain of the football team.
We didn't even have a football team. Actually, we did.
So much for my theory.
But yes, thank you.
A lot of the cool kids in high school, though, they're not so
They're
cool.
losers!
Have a good afternoon.